My name is Steve Richmond. This is a speech communications class. This is week 2, and this is my personal narrative. I have a beautiful, wonderful audience of at least 5 adults here as I do my speech. Okay. All right. Okay. So why don't we jump right in? All right. Well, welcome everyone. I'd like to thank you guys for coming and being a part of this event. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Steve Richmond. I was born and raised right here in Fort Worth, Texas. I graduated from Dunbar High School, as a matter of fact, in 1990. So I'm kind of giving my age away. It's been a while, you know. But I'm happy to be here. It's such a pleasure to be among wonderful people like yourself. Anybody here from Fort Worth?
Yeah.
Okay, great. We got some Fort Worth natives in the house. That's great. Well, y'all, I grew up poor. All right. Now, I didn't say poor. I said poor. We couldn't afford the OR at the end. All we could afford was the P-O. However, I grew up in a family that was full of love. All I knew was love. I didn't know anything else. As a matter of fact, I didn't know I was poor until we got a color TV. And then when they invented cable and we got cable, that's when I realized I was poor. But before then, I thought we had everything. I thought you ate sugar sandwiches because they tasted good, not because you didn't have lunch meat.
Come on.
You understand? So I had no idea that we were poor or that we were living in poverty. My mother was my primary guardian. She was a single mom for a lot of years. I was the 4th of 5 children. I have 2 older brothers, an older sister, and I have a younger sister, you know. So, and it's a trip because my older sister and I, we're actually born on the same day, but we're actually a year apart. So we were always treated like twins. So it's like Stacy and Stephen kind of thing, you know. And my mother was born in Abilene, Texas in 1936. She grew up during the Jim Crow era. And actually when she moved to Fort Worth as a domestic, she worked as a maid and she made $35 a week in that job. But she put herself in school and actually went to TCJC at the time and earned an associate's degree. You know, and she moved on from being a maid and she got a job at the Eastside Public Library on Meadowbrook. Okay, and my mom was a powerful lady, wonderful lady, and she that's where my interest in reading was born when she got that job. Now I'm going to admit though, I ain't had no library card, and neither did my mother. But the library would discard books, right? And instead of throwing them away, my mama brought them home.
Come on.
And she would bring me discarded
So you
books
just recycling.
all the time. Yeah, she just recycling. So she would bring me and my sisters, my brothers were older at this time. But she would bring me and my sisters these discarded books, and we would start reading. And to us, they were toys because we didn't have toys. We didn't have a lot of toys. She would able to get, maybe we get one thing a piece every Christmas or something like that. But I didn't have a lot of toys. Most of my toys were made. Like I would go and steal the bread wrappers off of the bread, and I would wrap them together and take like a bubble gum thing, paper, and slap it over the top of the bread wrapper, and that would be my superhero. Right? So those were like my first toys. And then we got these books, that was like, whoa. And before I knew it, by the time I was 12, I had read over 200 books easy. And we had a garage just full of books stacked on top of each other. And I remember one time my mother brought us a film projector that was discarded. And she brought us all these Fat Albert film strips. You know, so y'all used to play school. Everybody play school when you was little? Yeah. Well, can you imagine playing school with a real film projector?
That's cool.
Watching Fat Albert, you know? And that's where a lot of my early development came. Actually, when I started elementary school, they recommended to my mother that they put me in special ed. Don't laugh. So, that was like their professional recommendation. You belong in special ed. Because I refused to read and recite anything. Like I have vivid memories of being in the 1st grade and they would be passing around everybody reading Pug, this group Pug.
Yep, I remember that book.
And all that, right? Yep. And they would get to me and I would say, I can't read. Every time my turn, I can't read. Everybody in Milwaukee Elementary knew I couldn't read. Because that's what I would say. And the teacher could not get me to read. And she, no, you go, I mean, one time she was fed up. You gonna read. And she said, I say, I. Said the next word. And she go, run. Every, like I wouldn't read nothing, right? So they recommended that my mom put me in special ed, but my mother wouldn't do it. You know, she said, ain't nothing wrong with this boy, he can read. And I remember after the first grade, my sister Stacy, who was a year older than me and already blossoming, she basically beat me up and made me read. Like, come on, we finna play school. I don't want to play school, and I catch one. And I gotta go play school. She made me read. My sister at 7 taught me how to read at 6, how to start reading. Yeah, and she beat me into it.
Yeah.
But once I started, I stayed in it, and I loved it. And by the time I was in 4th grade, I was in our honors class. You know, because I embraced reading. By the time I was in 7th grade, I not only would make all A's, I would expect hundreds. Like in the 7th grade, I only made on my report card 3 grades at 100s. I had 100 in every class, like just perfect all the way down, you know. But at the same time, I'm living in Stop 6 in this community. I'm a nerd, but I'm not a square, right? So I'm in this community and I'm cool with everybody, and I'm seeing this dichotomy, particularly when crack cocaine got introduced to our community. And literally watching our community get destroyed, get attacked, and get destroyed. And at the same time, you're in school trying to do the right thing, and you're tempted to go live this life, but you're trying to stay straight with this life. And it was just very, it was a struggle for me growing up, you know, because my best friend's father, he worked at General Dynamics, and he got hooked on crack, right? And he was the strongest black man I knew, because my father wasn't a big part of my life. And when he got hooked on crack, it made me hate drugs. Like, I hated drugs, because if Mr. Colson can get hooked on dope, anybody can get hooked on dope, you know. And so I hated it. And going into high school, I remember sitting in the 10th grade in my biology class, and it was a pivotal point in my life. A friend of mine named Derek came in, and he put $800 down on the table. Boom. Big stack. I ain't never seen $800 in my life when I was poor. And he was like, you can make that every day if you come work for me. And it's me and my partner sitting there. And I'm like, man, I don't want to get out of the corner and sell drugs. He's like, man, you ain't got to. They wanted me to just cut it up. You know, I'm good at measurements. I was a good math student. You know, you just come into the little house. They had a little place in Castlewood.
Little trap house.
You cut it up,
Yeah.
you know, bag it up, and you need $800 a day. You know, because at this time, everybody wasn't selling dope. So it was just like really big. And I'm sitting there, and my friend Joshua was sitting there next to me. And Joshua was like, I'm in. He took it. He took the money. I'm hesitating. I wasn't no angel, but good thing I had a little cowardice in me. Because I got scared. I started thinking, I'm like, man, I'm not that big. You know, if I do go to prison, I can't fight nobody after me.
Oh, baby.
I'm thinking of
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, man, what if I get caught? I ain't no thug. I ain't got no training. You know what I'm saying? I don't know anything about nothing like that. So I turned it down out of fear. You know, and by the end of the year, at the end of the year, Derek got killed.
Oh.
Now he's supposed to protect me.
Wow.
And he got shot and killed, you know, at the car wash over there. And Joshua ended up doing 6 years in the penitentiary behind hustling. I often think, what if I took the money that day?
Yeah, which
Where
one
would
would
my
it
life
be?
be
Absolutely.
right now?